Video tutorials by Andrew Buckle. This tutorial I'm just going to show a basic run through of the new feature to be able to edit the toolbar. Now, still can't sadly edit the toolbar to make it like 3 or 4 across. I would love to see that feature, but it's still good old just 2 columns. And now what you can do is you can remove stuff you never use or stuff that you use very rarely. I'm certain there are some tools in Photoshop that I've really very rarely used, such as sponge tool. Now, you just see that's the change. Now, this does actually make, obviously doing tutorials going to be slightly different because every time tutorials, everyone's going to have a different toolbar. What do you want to call it? I've always called it toolbox. Right. But what you can now do is edit the toolbar. And you can edit it here with this little other selection. Just set up an other section. It's just at the end here. And edit toolbar. And you can also do the same just over here as well, edit toolbar, and I'm just going to go to here. Now you notice what I've done, I've actually created most of the tools that I've just got because I used the custom shape tool quite a lot, so the custom shape tool's now there, and rectangle, etc., and maybe like brush tool, type, most of the basic tools, I still use those ones, so now I can actually just separate them and put those ones there, and all the other stuff, like say, delete, anchor point, which of course I would mainly use in Illustrator, so I generally hand tool, note tool, count tool. I very rarely use those. I'm certain there are some great uses for those. But now, how to actually use this? So just say edit toolbar, and here it is. Nice little thing. It is very easy to use. I think it's a nice little tool. So if you want to change things, you can just say here artboard. So you just select that, and you can drag that down, and you see. Just drag it down and you'll see straight away there's a little bar just appears and there it separates there. You can see it just suddenly separates and you can see it separate over there. That's quite good. You can also, of course, if you decide you want to move artboard down to somewhere else, don't use it maybe as much, further down, you can actually then just drag that down and say put it down there in a separate section. Of course, if you want to join it to say that tool, just drag it onto maybe in the centre there. And you can just see it then becomes part of that. I don't particularly want that, but you can move them around. Now, can't get rid of the tools completely. There's no delete the tool for good. So what you can do, if you don't use particular, say, I'm going to go lasso tool. I do occasionally, but say I don't use it that much, I can then just drag it over there and just stick it in its own section there, or with group in there. Doesn't really make too much difference, but I'm just going to stick it over there. So, and you can go, when you go over there, you'll be able to, once you actually come out of that, I'm just going to go done now. You can just see lasso tool is now over there instead of over there. Now, just going to go back into the tool. So I'm just going to edit toolbar again. And again, like I say, you can move them around, move them up and down. Just select there, maybe drag that one down, maybe move it down to there. And it's a great way of just shifting them all around. You can see that all the different tools all there, such as paint bucket. You can move them up and down depending on the usage. Right, what you can also do, you've got these options here, show, you can actually toggle that so you don't have to have it. You don't really ever use the sharpen tool, all those sort of tools. You can just, I don't want it, gone, it's gone. But it's nice to keep it there because you might occasionally use those tools and you can just go back to it. It's a nice little tool. Right, there's also an option over here, and there's some things, this actually is probably not so personally useful because I do actually like to have the colours there. Sorry. So you can just click that and you can just remove that. You see it just goes. I'll leave that on. And likewise, you've got these ones here, which are useful. Again, just there, and you can remove that as well. So it's just a nice sort of remove that. Disable shortcuts as well. So there's a whole range of different options there. Now, there is also a restore default. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to restore all my defaults, but it just puts it back to the default setting, which is quite handy if you've made a mistake or something really odd. Just put it back. This one's a bit more frightening. It sort of suddenly clears tools, and I'm just going to quickly do that. So clear tools and say bang, they all go. all it does just all disappear, which is frankly not much use, but I guess there's some uses for that. Again, go back to the edit toolbar, and there is a load and save. So you can just save these things. So you can save presets and you can load them back in again. So if you've got sort of favourite set of things that maybe for certain operations you might use, say like your custom shape selection. So you might have a sort of toolbar for custom shape work. You could just set that up, put them all at the top, and have all the rest all over in the extra tools, and you can just have virtually nothing in there other than the custom shape stuff. That's the way of doing it. Just quickly load and save. At this point, I've done. And like I say, once you've done that, you can then just go over here and you've got a nice little cleaned up toolbar. And it's a nice little feature that I've found very useful. So just select it, especially if there's certain tools like, say, custom shape tool. I just use it all the time, and it was always slightly annoying when it was always right at the bottom, and of course you just couldn't select it, particularly you had to scroll through those or whatever. And that's it. I think there's maybe a few more other features I'm certain in Toolbar that will come to light over the time, but hope you found that tutorial of interest. Thank you much.